Welcome back to Rabid Noise on Rabbit Radio. Joining me on the program now is Bill Steer from Carcass. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Well, I've got to say, it's great to finally talk to you, as I spoke to Jeff just before the release of Surgical Steel last year, and when that album dropped, everyone I know went crazy for it, because it was long awaited. How's things been from your point of view since the release of the album?
Very positive, really. We did not anticipate things going this way. We believed in the record, and we were confident that the hardcore Carcass fan base would enjoy it, but we didn't really expect very much in the way of recognition or response from the wider metal world. So that's just taken us by surprise, but we're enjoying it.
Well, that's awesome, man, because it was my number one album of last year, and I still listen to it. Yeah, I still love it, you know, and everyone I know, it was such a strong release, you know. Last year there was a lot of good albums that came out, and that just seemed to cut right through them, so awesome work.
Nice one.
How's the response been to the new tracks live? Has there been, say, any, you know, one certain track that people are really responding to, especially live?
Well, oddly enough, all of the songs we're playing from the new record are going down very well, because we were sort of anticipating maybe a drop in the energy level from the audience perspective when we played something new. But that just didn't happen. If anything, it kind of went the other way. I don't know if that's because they all have the record and they like it, or if they're responding to something they're getting off us, where we're actually stepping up our energy level. But either way, it's great. It's hard to name a particular song that would stand out. I mean, I suppose maybe Unfit for Human Consumption. That always seems to lift the set when we play it. But yeah, I mean, a typical night for us will play at least 3 new songs, 4, if we're feeling confident, I guess.
Well, I got to say, Unfit was my favourite track off the album, and it's right, just so cool. Damn catchy, man. It's such a great track.
Yeah.
Well, talking about live, you're just about head down here next month on the Surgical Steel, the Commonwealth Tour, which is way overdue. Everyone's really pumped to see you guys. You know, you're saying you're playing a couple of tracks off the new one, but are you going to try and maybe mix it up a little bit on this tour with some old and with some new, or maybe a bit more new?
We try and make it as balanced as we can. It's an ongoing process, because you're never going to have a set that everyone in the crowd is totally happy with. And probably the same goes for us too, you know. We do critique it from time to time and change things. But the bottom line is, we feel that we need to represent the different periods of the band with the song selection. So we play something off every record. That's how it has to be. Not just because it's expected of us, but also because it's fun that way. You know, for me, there's times when we're playing, say, something off one of the first couple of records, and that's a buzz in itself. The fact that riffs I came up with when I was, say, 17 or 18 are still being played today by our band to responsive crowds. It's killer. But yeah, I mean, a big chunk of the set, needless to say, is centered around the 3rd and 4th albums, because up until now, they have been the most popular, and they're the most requested. But yeah, there's a couple of things from Swan Song on there too, and you know, yeah, the set list is our attempt to try and cover everything we've done. You know,
well,
I mean, obviously we're not going to play for 3 hours.
No, of course not.
We do.
Well, it definitely sounds like, you know, it's a celebration of your whole career up to date, and you know, as I said, so excited to see you guys live, because it'll be my first time seeing Carcass.
Okay.
You know, I've been a fan for a long time, but I've missed you guys on the last tour, sadly. So this is my chance to experience you guys live. So I'm myself very excited to see it. So, you know, a lot of bands I have spoken to, you know, you always ask them, they'll say Carcass, especially the heavier ones, will say Carcass is an influence on their own music. Has there been any bands that you've sort of heard of late, or maybe, you know, played with, and you've sort of picked out your influence in their music?
Not really, but, you know, it's nice when people cite us as an influence, but sometimes I'm the last one to really pick up on that in their music. We played, for example, in the States not so long ago. It was a 4-band package, and it was ourselves, Black Dahlia Murder, Gorguts, and Noisem. And obviously Noisem are really young guys from Baltimore area, and they're completely steeped in that sort of era of, I don't know, it's kind of like the late 80s thing where it crosses between thrash and death metal with just a hint of the kind of crusty-ish kind of grindcore thing as well. And for lads of that age, it's incredible how pure their music is and how natural it is. And yeah, I mean, they said to us on the tour that we were a big influence on what they do, and that's lovely. But I didn't necessarily hear it. I was just hearing them, you know. I think sometimes bands kind of disappear at their own backsides a bit with, like, bigging themselves up, saying they're super influential. I mean, I always think that's for someone else to say, you know. Don't say it yourself.
But it's true. I mean, you guys have, you know, definitely paid your dues and made your mark, you know, in the metal world. So give respect where respect's due, really. I mean, I know Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. When I was talking to him, he was like, love Carcass, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the great things about that tour, because all the bands got along really well, and there was definitely mutual respect between all bands. For a package like that, where there's 4 groups, I've never known anything to run so smoothly. At least socially, everything, it was really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, the Dahlia lads were, you know, we've met them before, and they've always been very complimentary. And obviously, Trevor has a notorious Carcass tattoo, which is very nice. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think, he was maybe the first person I met to actually have a Carcass tattoo. Certainly one of the first couple. Some nights we'd be playing and we'd actually see him in the audience going nuts. So, I mean, yeah, he's a true believer, and, you know, and his band's pretty insane live as well. So, yeah, we definitely had fun on that trip.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's so good to hear, you know. And you also keep yourself busy outside of Carcass. And, you know, you're in another band that I really like called Gentleman's Pistol. What's happening with that band at the moment?
We're actually finishing a new album. Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a fairly quiet year or two for the band, for various reasons. But one thing we were able to do was just get together and, you know, rehearse an entirely new set of songs for a record. I mean, I'm not really involved in the writing process for that band at all, so I can kind of be objective on this, but I think it's a really strong set of tunes. You know, I love the way Atco writes, and I think there's a couple of tracks in particular on this new record. I just can't wait for people to hear them, because they're super catchy, and the vocals are fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, really, the thing should be complete within the next week or so, and then it's a case of just settling on who's going to release it and when it will come out.
It's awesome. I can't wait to hear it, especially, you know, it's just catchy rock and roll, really, isn't it?
Yeah, in essence, yeah. I mean, I think it kind of stands alone, really. Gents has always tended to play with stoner bands just because those are the gigs we get offered. But I think musically, it has very little in common with that. You know, it's quite uplifting music. There's nothing really downbeat or sludgy about it.
No, it's sort of, I don't know, it reminds me, it's like very classic rock, sort of really party stuff. Hey, it's, you know, it's really uplifting, puts you in a good mood, rock stuff, and, you know, I love it. So it sounds like, you know, musically you're sort of covering all your bases there. You know, you've got the rock stuff, you've got the death metal stuff. Is there anything that you'd sort of love to experiment with?
Well, I mean, I'm always cautious with the word experiment, because, you know, to me that's something you should do in a laboratory, you know, behind closed doors, really. I wouldn't really want to subject anybody to a musical experiment, but I guess I'm more or less playing music that's part of me, you know, whether it's with Gentleman's Pistols or Carcass. They're just different sides of my playing, and I just feel lucky that I get the chance to do those things with different bands. Yeah, you always want to get to be a better musician and learn new things, and maybe there's a way I can tackle that in the future. But yeah, right now I guess it's such a busy, hectic time. I wouldn't even have the energy to think about doing something else, you know. Between those two bands, pretty much my time is full.
Yeah, that's pretty understandable. I mean, you know, considering, you know, you're going out on tour with Carcass and and with the gents, you know, it'd be pretty full on. But it's awesome to see you getting out there and, you know, doing what you love, especially for so long.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just, you know, I try to remember how fortunate I am to be in this position. There's loads of musicians out there who just don't really get the breaks, you know, whether it's through to timing or lack of contacts or whatever it is. We've all known people who are strong players and they deserve to be busy, but they're just not able to be. So, yeah, I think those of us who are out and about playing, you just got to remember you're one of the privileged few, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I see what you mean there. Well, you know, after this tour, you know, what other plans do you have, say, for Carcass? You know, can we expect a follow-up to Surgical Steel in the near future, or...?
I wouldn't say in the near future, just because we've got so many things booked for the next few months. We won't even be able to really look at any new material until the end of the year. But, yeah, we'd love to do it. I think it's something that we'd all be up for. So, you know, I can't wait for that time to come around. I do think it'll be, what's the word? Quite an undertaking, I guess, because we already had the surprise element with this record. You know, a lot of people were expecting it to be rubbish. And when it turned out to be strong, they were surprised, and that's great, but we can't pull that trick a second time. You know, because this record is valid, we'll have to step it up at least another gear or two. And, you know, what that would be or how we do it, I don't really know at this stage, but we'll just go about it the same way we always do. Work on whatever music is exciting us and record it when we're ready. So, Lord knows when that will be.
Well, hopefully, yeah, well, I mean, I understand you're busy, but, you know, hopefully it won't be as longer wait. But, you know, I think, you know, the way you guys work, and it will be probably as good, or if not better.
I don't really think any of us fancy the idea of just putting out a record that's half-baked. You know, there's so much music out there, you really have to feel like you've got something to say, you know. Don't really want to be wasting anybody's time with an album that's just been, you know, cobbled together in a hurried fashion.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, I think it'll be great when it does come out. Well, we're going to go to the track Unfit for Human Consumption now, and I'm going to follow that up with Gentleman's Pistols track Your Majesty, just to cover both of it, because, you know, it'll be awesome. And thanks heaps for hanging with us tonight, Bill, and, you know, we'll see you in Brisbane on June 13.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It should be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great, man. Well, thanks heaps, dude.
My pleasure. Thank you.